All right, so here we go. A Wednesday night, you've got Aired Out. I'm JD Green. Thanks, everybody, for subscribing, for tuning in. I have such a cool lady with me tonight, Donna Sherman, who I know you've been hearing me talk about here on the podcast for the last almost a year now, I think it's been. Donna, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so happy that you're here. This is so cool.
Finally here, right?
I know. There were a few times you and I were fooling around with the calendar. We weren't sure when we were going to have you on, but
Right.
My gosh, where do we begin? Let's talk about getting the hell out of here, out of Vermont for a little while. Vacations and that's what you specialize. You are a luxury travel specialist. That correct?
I am.
Is that the stamp that's on the forehead for you?
Well, I would consider myself a travel advisor as well. Yeah.
So this is Cruise Planners.
It is.
And what is Cruise Planners and what is yourvoyageplanner.com?
Well, I'll start from the beginning, I guess. I've been in the travel industry for about 25 years now.
So you know what you're doing.
I know what I'm doing. I hope that I know what I'm doing.
You
I'm
do
told
very well.
that I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
About 16 years ago, my kids were young. They were about 8 and 10. And I decided I really needed to be home with them, but I still wanted to be able to do what I love to do, and that was sell travel. And I'd been in the business for a while and needed to figure out how I could be home and how I could still work, contribute to my family, and still do what I love doing. And so I bought a franchise, Cruise Planners.
Cruise Planners.
Been with them for 17 years. Actually, just celebrated my 17 years in November. It is a franchise. My home office is down in Florida. I have a great home office team of accounting, marketing, just a good team of people that I can work with and support me in the business. Yeah. So hence the name. I can't change the name.
Yes, of course.
But I'm a full service travel advisor. So I sell everything all over the world, whether it be
land or sea.
Yeah. All inclusives, everything.
There's so much that we have to talk about. But first off, so Cruise Planners, that's the big umbrella. And then to get on you specifically is yourvoyageplanner.com.
Yes, that's my personal website.
And you're right here, literally a couple of miles from the studio here in Barrie.
Yes.
Which is so awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
People love to put the face to, and they love to be able to pick up the phone and say, oh my God, my wife is not feeling well. What do we do? I can't remember. Did we buy the insurance? What the hell is going on? They like to be able to talk to somebody on the other end of the line.
Exactly.
And someone who's local, not over in India.
Right. And they like to get somebody when they're traveling too, if you have issues.
Right, of course.
The travel insurance is very important and something I do sell. So it's all in the package, from start to finish, and it starts the minute you call me and it ends never. I've created a lot of relationships with people over the years. A lot of my customers have become my friends. So yeah.
So here's the tough question of the night, and we're going to get into some more nuts and bolts here, but I'm telling you folks right now, if you are even fantasizing ever so slightly, maybe without your partner knowing about taking a vacation, continue watching here and grab your pen, and we're going to give you some important information and a fantastic website, again, to get on to learn more. But why would someone watching right now choose you over doing it themselves, Travelocity or anything on the web or Airbnb or stuff like that?
Well, I get asked that question a lot. And my answer back, first of all, is why wouldn't you use a travel agent? You get online and there's so many search engines out there. There's so many choices. There's so many options. You spend hours online and not knowing really if it's the right vacation for you. It might be the right price, but it might not be the right vacation.
Right.
And so for myself as an advisor, I work for you. I make sure you're getting the right price. I make sure you're getting the right vacation that's for you. I make sure that, I'm creating an experience for you, your family, your spouse, anybody that is traveling with you, that you're getting the experience that you're looking for. It's not about going online and booking a trip just because it looks cheap or it looks good. It needs to be what you've dreamt about, what you've saved for, what you've, what you're looking forward to. I'm not an order taker. I don't just, sell you something because I think I need to sell it to you. And that's one of the reasons I went in business for myself, is because I really like to be able to connect with my clients, and make sure that I'm giving them something that is going to last a lifetime. This is going to be a dream of theirs. And I don't want you calling me at midnight and saying, this is not what we wanted. I want you to call me if you have a problem, obviously, and there are unforeseen circumstances out there.
Sure.
There is,
That's life.
That's life. Yeah. Bad things happen, and we can't...
Weather, whatever.
We can't change that, but if I can make every effort to make sure that your trip is what you've always dreamed of or imagined, then that's what I'm here for. And you're not going to get somebody on an online travel agency that's going to be there to make sure you have seat assignments on your plane, to make sure that if you get a schedule change, you're going to get that and not show up at the airport late.
Of course.
Or to know that you're actually traveling on a day. You may not know that I'm looking at your schedule or following it, but I'm there and I'm following your schedule, and I know when you land, and I know if somebody doesn't pick you up, and I make sure that I send an email to the general manager of every property that my clients are going to and saying, my clients are coming. Please make sure that everything's okay. And so, that's
a lot
why
of work.
It is.
It's not a 9 to 5 job.
It's not. It's 24/7.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah.
I just, how many of us? I'm trying to think how many times, and how many of us that are watching now have seen this. You're at work. You go to the fax machine or the photocopier, and there's something that's sitting there that's
$2.99.
Yeah, $2.99. Jamaica, drinks included, whatever, and it's wow. I mean, I've seen that, and it's grabbed my attention.
Yeah,
I mean
of course
that's
it
what
does.
it's designed to do.
It's designed to do that.
It's supposed to grab your attention.
Bare minimum, hurricane season,
right?
No air.
Yes.
No, it's like. It's those
Is
things.
that a surprise that people have run into? No air conditioning?
I mean, well, JD.
Kind.
No air. Sorry.
Oh, no air. Oh, my God. I thought you meant air conditioning.
No. But yes, they have run into no air
dumbasses like me need to pick up the phone or send people like you an email.
It is true, though. People have got to places with no air conditioning. Not that I've booked, but, that I've booked.
Ooh, boy.
But those things are important to you. If you need a coffee maker in the room, if you need air conditioning, if you need, whatever, it's definitely.
Now, so the big question, and I want to ask you about Disney, and I'm telling you folks, if you're thinking about Disney, as I am, we've got some really important questions that I'm going to be asking Donna here in a second. But I want to talk about the water here. Let's talk about the boats.
The ships.
The ships. Okay, so why do we have to say ship? What's taboo about boat? Why can't I say boat?
Well, if I'm cruising on a 160,000 ton ship,
you don't call it a boat.
I don't call it a boat.
Fair enough.
I call what I'm fishing in a boat.
A boat. All right, so if you get on, and you're going to have to pardon me because I know I'm going to say boat again.
That's okay.
But if you get on the boat and you're, what's most important? Is it the room with the balcony? Is it the argument of you're not going to spend a lot of time in your room? The balcony view, not that important to pay that extra price. Doesn't matter if you don't have a window or view. Well, I'm going to feel claustrophobic. I need to have the window. Yeah, but it's a lot cheaper. You're never going to know. You won't feel the boat moving. People who I have, believe it or not, I have never been on a cruise. Mm-hmm. And I have so many friends that have been, and they're all telling me, you go on one, and you're going to go on many. and that, there's probably some truth to that.
There is some truth to that.
Is there any truth to the get the cheaper room because you're not going to be spending so much time in it?
Well,
what do you say?
First of all, I say if you're on the ocean, you're going to feel the water or the waves regardless of where you are.
Got it.
Sometimes you may feel it a little more
Right.
toward the front. Sometimes you may feel it a little more toward the back. But you're on the ocean. You're on a ship. It's
no matter what kind of room
you're going to feel something at some point if the water is a little rough. I do have people say, I'm not going to spend a lot of time. However, if you have a balcony, you will spend a little more time in that room. Balconies are nice because you can get out there, you can have a drink in the evening. You can have coffee in the morning and not feel like you have to rush up and get, a cup of coffee and sit where you can see something going on.
We're missing a word here. Naked.
You can sit out there naked if you want to. I mean,
is that not the truth? Naked. Okay.
You can.
So if you want to sit out on the balcony naked and watch the sunset with a drink in your hand,
have at
get
it.
the room with the
because you don't want to sit in an interior room like a closet. I mean, what fun is that to just sit there? And if you like to have some privacy, if you like to have quiet time, that's your vacation. Right. So if you're not going to have a balcony to get outside, you're going to have to go outside at some point. So you're going to be out on deck somewhere else with somebody else. I can honestly say once you do a balcony, you will not ever go back to an interior cabin.
Ooh, interesting.
And I always say to people, either do an interior or a balcony because the windows don't open. Yeah, you get some natural light, but the difference you pay...
don't open.
The windows don't open.
That.
So
why would I know that?
So why pay that difference for a window? I mean, I guess if you're just looking for a little bit of natural light, but if you're not going to spend a lot of time in there anyways, then
somebody like myself, man, I tell you, I mean, I would just be just nonstop. I mean, just go, and then I would come back to the room and I would just want to crash.
You may want to hang out on your balcony and read a book or look at your internet or.
Wow, that's true. You got a good point.
Visit with your wife, have a drink, not have a lot of people around, and just have some quiet time out there. If you're traveling with your child, you want to put your child to bed and you want to sit outside. You can do that without worrying about going out on deck or in a public area.
So you've had a good number of clients that are like, had the balcony, never going back.
I don't think I've ever sold anybody a balcony to an interior. I've done a lot of interiors to balconies, but not balconies to interiors.
What's the big difference in price? Couple $100?
It depends. It really depends. Yeah, it really depends on the where you're going, the time of the year.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm hearing about. There was just something, I had it on Facebook. I'll sit, if you scroll down on my wall, you'll see it. But I'm trying to think who it was. They just created this huge. It's a new cruise line, and they made a replica of it out of gingerbread, and they had it on display in some shopping mall somewhere. I'm telling you, if you scroll down on my page, you'll see it. And it's like 30 feet long and 10 feet wide, and it's all made out of gingerbread. But whoever it was promoting a roller coaster. So it was a roller coaster on the boat,
on
the ship.
We'll have to Google that one because I'm not sure of the gingerbread. That's throwing me off.
Is it getting? Do you think is it getting out of hand? We got racetracks. We've got huge swimming pools. We've got wave pools. We've got roller coasters. We've got running tracks, climbing walls,
water parks.
Really? Oh, of course. There's got to be a water park. Is it getting too much, too big, too crazy? I mean, wow. Who needs to be on the land when you have something like that? Really, I mean, that's what they're making it.
It's true, but there's more and more coming out both land and sea. It's just the I don't want to say the need is there, but they're just, they've got to build these because more and more, there's so many people that have never even traveled out of the state or any state, you know what I mean? And so there is a lot of, there's just so many new ships coming for ocean and river. I mean, there's a lot of river cruise ships too in Europe that are being built. Yeah, getting into the small little towns in Europe. And
but if you're going, if you're taking the family, and it makes sense if you're taking the family on a cruise and you're bringing your kids and they're teenagers, you want to be able to be rest assured that you know where they are. They're on the same ship that you're on,
right?
And they're running around, burning themselves up all day. Yeah. And, check in with us 3 times a day at this time over here. This is where Mom and I are going to be. And we're Mom and Dad get to relax, and the kids are running around going. So you almost have to have all of those. You have to have all the things that you could do in a city or on the land, roller coasters, theme parks, whatever, water slides. Got to have it on the boat.
Yeah. And more, I think kids and families are really kind of guiding the direction of more and more people want memories. They want experiences. They don't want stuff anymore. They want to do things. And the trend is really going toward families, multi-generational travel. Yeah. And so they've got to have stuff for every age, whether it be land or sea, for these families to go.
One of the things that you told me once that I'll never forget is that
I can't remember what that
is. There are packages out there where maybe I misheard you, maybe I misunderstood, where you can go on the cruise, but you can say, "Hey, we want you to dump us off at wherever so that we can stay on the land for another week. We're going to fly home on our own."
There are some that get off, a few that, you get off in maybe Barbados or something like that. But not a lot. Typically, you'll come back to its starting point.
To its main port. Yeah. But you could do that if you wanted to.
Depends on the cruise line.
On the cruise line.
Yeah.
What are the big ones right now? Is it Carnival? Is it...
The big sellers right now?
Yeah.
Well, the mega ships with family, that are really geared towards families is Carnival, Norwegian Cruise Lines. Princess has really gone toward more family, multi-generational travel. A lot of them cater to families. There are some adults only, type vacations out there with cruise lines and river cruises.
Sure.
But the big ones right now for, coming up for vacation and getting out of here would be Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian Cruise Lines.
Norwegian, that was the other one. Yeah. And it doesn't always have to be that. Yeah, it doesn't always have to be down south into the Caribbean. You can get up into Alaska.
Yeah, in the summertime though.
In the summertime. And we should also say that there are plenty of packages and plenty of boats that folks would come to you and inquire about. The folks that don't have kids, or the kids are too old, or they've grown up and moved out, or they just want a nice, quiet experience.
Yeah.
They don't want to go on a ship where there's a million kids, water slides and whatnot. They want something more relaxed, more elegant, more romantic.
Yeah. There's something out there for everybody. There really is. And that goes back to kind of like the online shopping, is you could spend hours trying to figure out what might be the best option. Whereas if you were to call me and just say, this is what we're looking for, I can really narrow it down. I have good relationships with tour operators, sales reps all over the world. And so I have connections with people all over the world. So
Connections is everything.
It's everything.
It's everything.
Yeah.
Huge network.
Yeah.
So I got to ask you about Disney. As you know, Lily is 5 years old. A, how the hell can we afford it? B, when is the perfect time to take your child to Disney? I know you get asked that question. Is that like the number one question that you get asked more than anything else?
Like, when's the perfect time to go?
What's the perfect age?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the family. It depends on the child. It depends on if you want to take your child out of school or not. because
Interesting.
a lot of times the best times price-wise to travel is when there's no school breaks. September for Disney, October until you get into Halloween, which they have a big Halloween party there. The not so scary Halloween party at Disney, and then you get into Thanksgiving and Christmas. But if you avoid those times, or January is a great time, no school breaks at that time. We start to get into mid-February all the way through March. You have high schools, colleges, elementary schools all over the country that are taking breaks at that time.
Yes.
Then you got Easter, depending on when that falls each year. So
Wow.
yeah, least expensive time I would say would be like September or January. For less lines at that time as well. I think it's doable for most people. It is expensive. It is. Disney does it right. They don't have to discount anything.
Yeah, their own cruise line.
They have their own cruise line now too.
Line.
Yes. Yep.
Wow.
So they have the cruise and they have the parks. So it's just a matter of working with somebody that can help you go within your budget and that kind of thing. And I always tell people, we can make it work. It's just a matter of working on it. It may not be something we can do overnight, put together, but it's something that we can.
So I say this, if it's something that you're just curious about, don't be afraid to reach out to Donna and say, hey, can we go to Disney for this amount of money? Because if the answer is no, you'll be able to.
I can tell you if it's realistic or not. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Or I can say, well, we could do this, and you may not be able to do that.
It just seems like I've heard over the last, I don't know, decade or so that Disney has gone way up in their prices consistently, especially like over the last decade.
Yeah.
Am I imagining that?
No,
or
they've gone up.
They have. 5 years? Last 5? Last 10?
Probably within the last 10, they've really kind of increased, I would say.
What is that? Is it just demand? Is it just...
It's demand. It's, they're constantly building. They've constantly got new things. They have... we kind of have to look at it on their side as well. The insurance must be through the roof for them to operate this theme park, or cruise line. All the people that they have working for them, their employees, the money, the workman's comp, the insurance, all that stuff. So things, as we know, everything else increases, and the more they add, the more it's gonna be, So that would be my take on it, but.
No, you're probably, and it's just a more expensive world now.
It is. The cost of everything it increases, and it just, that's just the way it is. And like I said, you can do it maybe not stay on site, or maybe stay on site for a less amount of nights, or a less expensive property on site. Really, staying inside Disney on their least expensive property is not that expensive. You can do it for $150, $200 a night. Now that doesn't include your park passes, but we add that on, and depending on how many days you maybe want to do the parks, because sometimes you might be happy to stay in the pool all day. So
right.
And it depends. You add meal packages or not, those kind of things. So that's what we talk about when you...
You and I chatted a little bit about this, I don't know, a couple of months ago. And I remember you telling me something to the effect of the biggest mistake that people make when they bring their kids to Disney is you've got to have your days planned out. And don't just fly by night, but you also don't want to make the mistake of burning up your kids.
Yeah.
And they burn up.
They do.
Even though they have so much energy, it's overstimulation, it's just information overload, and by 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they're exhausted.
Yeah.
And they're coming unglued. So the fireworks at 9 o'clock at night, these kids are falling asleep.
Yeah. I think it's good to have a plan with Disney. I do think it's good to have, your days kind of thought out and somewhat written out at this point. That we go to may not follow it. I mean, you got kids, and depending
Sure.
on the ages, but I think it's a good idea to say, okay, this day we're going to plan on this, and this. And, you really have to, whether you have kids that want to see princesses or
Right.
you have kids that want to eat at Mickey and Minnie's breakfast, or you have the Hoop-de-Doo review or the fireworks or whatever. You want to make sure that those things, you have them, but really don't try to fit everything into one day because it's too much for all of you. You're going to get upset, never
Sure.
mind the kids.
So what is a good, if let's say you've got 2 kids ages 5 and 7 or 5 and 8, how many days should you block out? If you say that's it, we're going to Disneyland. Do we go for? Can we do it in 5 days? Can we do it in 6, 7? Is 10 too much? What about Epcot? What about SeaWorld? What about?
Well, SeaWorld's not a part of Disney, and just to make sure, Disneyland is in California.
Did I say Disneyland?
You did. Disney
Damn
World
it.
is in Florida. Now, SeaWorld is not a part of Disney, and neither is Universal Studios.
Oh,
Okay, they're 2 separate parks. They're
Close
2
by.
different. They're close, but they're not even part of Disney World.
totally separate.
No. At Disney, you have the Animal Kingdom, the Magic Kingdom, the oh my God, you're gonna make me forget.
Well, the Animal Kingdom. That's where you're driving through. That's basically like a huge
Animal Park.
animal park.
Yeah.
And then the SeaWorld too, isn't that?
Well, SeaWorld is more water.
Okay.
Animal Kingdom is more giraffes and.
But is SeaWorld
elephants.
part of Disney?
No,
It's not.
no,
I didn't know that.
no, it's not.
Wow.
So
There's a lot to it. It's overwhelming, but I mean, do we, what's enough? I mean, do we go for 7 days? Is that just about right? If we have 2 kids, 5 and 7?
well, what I would say to people is, first of all, what do you want to do? Like, what do you want to see? Are there certain things the kids have said they wanted to see? Do you want to do all 4 parks? Do you want to do water parks? Do you want to just hang out by a really neat pool? Do you
Yeah.
want to?
Go. And
Yeah.
there's some
So
some
it
of us that are,
depends, So if there's definitely things they want to, I wouldn't say don't do any less than 5 nights. I mean, that's just
that's crazy.
yeah.
Wow.
And you won't see everything in a week. There's just not enough time to do all that.
Yeah.
But, so I really, again, that's how if somebody calls me and says, I want to go to Disney World, well, that's great, but we need to talk more about what you're looking for at Disney World. What type of property do you want? What type of meals maybe do you want to include? Because food is very expensive as well.
Right.
What do you and your family want to do? We have to really talk about that before I can even make a suggestion on how long you
Sure.
want to stay or what you want to,
Do you ever get the folks that say, we'd like to go for 7 days, but we just, we can't afford that. We've got to cut some corners here. Can we go to the store and buy our own food and make sandwiches? And are coolers allowed in? Or,
Well,
what do you
Disney
say
has
about
a really
that?
cool, actually one of their accommodations is their campground. And they do have actual little cabins that you can rent versus a hotel room. And the cabins have a full kitchen and a little living area, and there's a store there, and you can actually have groceries delivered to you. And so those are things that, we can kind of,
Wow.
yeah. So like I said, there's typically something for everybody. Or maybe it makes more sense to stay right off site of Disney in a property where you're going to have a kitchen. And, if you want more resort-style
Right.
property, you can stay off-site with a shuttle. Make sure you have a shuttle. And, my kids did that, and it worked out fine for them. So,
Disney it's interesting. I've got a couple of adult friends who, first of all, they can't believe that the last time I was there, the only time I was there, I was 11 years old. I can't believe I haven't been back since. But they just love it as
yeah.
adults.
I have several
there's-
clients that love Disney
They're
and go
sending
every
me
year.
pictures with Goofy. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
really? And they love it. They love it.
Disney's magical for everybody. It really is. And so and I have, adult people that go all the time. They love it. So
isn't that interesting? Mm-hmm. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be geared for just little kids.
No, there's adult stuff all over. Yeah. Like Epcot, that one of the parks that I didn't mention. They have
Epcot,
food from all over the world, restaurants from all over the world. People they do all kinds of stuff there. They do the wine and, food festivals, and they do everything there. So
can you do Epcot in one day?
Probably not, but you can see it. You can do it. We do, you do that for one day. Maybe you do the Animal Kingdom for one day. You do the Magic Kingdom for one day, that kind of thing. So
yeah. So if you have teenagers or you have kids, maybe 10, 11, 12, do you recommend, look, you're going with kids that are old enough, they've got a ton of energy. Get in there the second the gate opens and push it right until as late as you can.
Well, I think it depends on the family. They have the passes where you can come in and out. So you can, go into the Magic Kingdom in the morning, come back, take a swim, have lunch, go back into the Animal Kingdom, come back out, go to fireworks in the evening. So
or if your kid's coming unglued,
you
go back to the hotel, put them down, come back for the fireworks.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah.
Let's get on to the land now.
Yeah.
Or more land.
Yes, more land.
Let's jump past Florida. Look at these exotic vacations that are popping up. I see them all the time on the internet. I see them on TV. I see commercials on TV for like expeditions almost.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a niche for that now? Are more and more people saying safari, Africa?
Oh, definitely. I think people more and more, like I said, are looking for experiences, more memories, more pictures to take home and show their families, their friends, social media. It's, people love to put that stuff out there and experience it themselves.
Sure.
A lot of stuff that I'm seeing right now is definitely Europe, South Africa, safaris, the Galapagos as far as expeditions go. Always Alaska, Caribbean, those type of things. Iceland is a real big up and coming destination.
Europe, all of Europe.
All of Europe, and river cruising in Europe especially too. Getting into those little cities and towns, and they have specialty river cruises as well, like breweries. Beer is a big thing too.
Sure.
So they have the brewery cruises. They have the wine cruises, and you go to all the different wine destinations, like in Germany or Paris, France. That kind of thing. So people are looking for more of. Ireland is another one that's a big one. I just took a group there in June, so we did Ireland, and that was a lot of fun. But it's more about getting into the culture, meeting locals, doing some of the things that they do, cooking some of the food that they cook.
I would love that.
Mingling in pubs and in bars and that kind of thing. So it's that's what people are looking for is.
So if someone comes to you and they say, this is what we're kind of dreaming about, and you work on it, you get back to them, it's out of their price range. What do you say then?
We go back to the drawing board again. A lot of times people maybe come to me and say, we'd like this vacation. We don't
happen
really
here.
have. Yeah.
Maybe it should happen here.
Yeah. Or, we're looking for ideas. I try not to overwhelm with too many ideas, because it does, for anybody, gets too much. If you offer 5 or 6 different options, then we're kind of like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. So for me, like 3 options, and we go from there. You may like option number 1, the middle part of it, but option number 3 is looking better. So we kind of cut and paste and move things around and do what works for you. And I think a lot of times too, as we get into it more, both of us are figuring out more of what we wanted or didn't want, or I can figure out what you really wanted or what you didn't want, or you can figure out, oh, I didn't really want that, or I really wanted this. Thanks for throwing that in there,
Yeah.
So it's a process. It's not just a click and
Right.
run your credit card. It's
Right.
really a process in figuring out what's good. And I need to throw in there too, I don't charge for my services. There's no extra fees on top of. The only thing that, that may have something is if I was to run just an airline ticket, that's different. But as far as packages and that kind of thing, I don't have any extra fees. The vendors that I work with pay me to sell their product, but I only sell the product that works for you. I sell the product that's best for you. It's not about, and I only work with vendors that I trust, vendors that are going to give me the product that I'm looking for.
And you've got some good history with.
Oh, a lot of good history. And cruise planners themselves, you can Google them online, the home office team. In fact, our CEO and president is on CNN News on Friday morning. So they're a big company. They're a well-known company. I just got back from a convention last week, and I went on a Princess cruise for 3 nights, the Sky Princess, which is a new ship that's out there right now. They invited us on. There was probably about 400 of us franchise owners on the ship, and they changed the color of their pens to green. Now, green is our color for cruise planners, if you see that on logos or my cards or whatever. They changed the color of their pens from blue to green for us. And also, we all wore T-shirts that said, call a cruise planner. So, we have the relationships out there with these top vendors that really want to work with us and with you to make sure that you're getting the best.
And make sure that people can travel and have those memories and have them.
And have the trust in
Yeah.
some, that's a lot of money you're spending. It's, there's a lot happening in the world these days, and people want to know that they can have somebody to talk to or know that they're going with as a reputable vendor. So.
Right. And plan it out.
Oh, yeah.
Plan it out financially and make sure that you know what you're getting into. And if it's, if it's not something that's financially feasible within this year, make it a 2-year goal.
Right, exactly. I have things on the books now for 2021. So people do plan ahead.
Isn't that something?
And I also have a way in my system that I can, you book now with a deposit, you can make payments.
Yeah, how does that work? Can you explain that a little bit more? I'm curious.
It depends on the vendor and what they'll allow, but typically it's a deposit, and then your final payments aren't usually due to, let's say, 3 to 0 months prior. Usually it's 45 days up to 3 months prior, depending on the type of trip that you're taking. But you can make payments, that kind of thing.
You can budget it out.
You can budget it and just kind of make the plan for, when it's time for you to go. So it's not something that...
You have to rob a bank.
No, you don't have to rob a bank.
Wow.
You don't have to. So, and I work with you to make sure that,
You're not robbing the bank.
You're not robbing the bank. So I understand, we all have budgets and financial stuff, but I like to make these dreams come true. This is what I do. And so I just want to make sure that.
So if someone says to you, I want to go parasailing with the dolphins and I want to skydive above a volcano. You've heard some interesting things before, I'm sure.
Yes. Well, you can swim with the dolphins. I don't know if you can parasail.
Well,
with them.
you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
I will make things happen that I can. Like I said, again, I only use really reputable vendors that carry insurance for you that, if you're going to parasail or if you're going to skydive over a volcano, I don't know that I have anybody that's going to cover you for that. So I can I can certainly look and find out, but I don't know that that's that I can make that happen, but I'll certainly try. Maybe I can get you onto a non-active volcano.
What's the most? I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but what's the most interesting request that you can think of off the top of your head that you've had, whether you've been able to fulfill it or not? Can you think of one?
I I don't know that I've had any. I can't. I guess you should have given me time to think about it.
I know, and you might. But listen, you start hanging around with me, you're going to get some interesting requests.
I'll start thinking about that for the next time then.
But, the sky is the limit. There's so many possibilities.
Oh, yeah.
And so when you hear the words cruise planner, you're thinking, some of you might think, oh, this is someone who's a cruise expert, and it's just about the water.
Right.
Not the case.
No, and
furthest thing from the truth. You're land and sea.
I am, and and we've talked about, or the home office team has talked about changing it, and it just, we've made this brand. Yeah. And you can't change a brand once it's started. It's like anything.
Well, you
else.
can change it, but you might screw things up real fast.
Yeah. It's like anything else. So we're proud of the name. We just, it's a matter of getting it out there and letting people know that it's not just about cruising. I guess you could think about it as cruising the world, whether it be on land or sea. So
yeah, and that's why your card says you're land and cruise expert.
Yeah.
So you're right here in town.
Yeah. How
can people get in touch with you? And of course, we're going to put this on social media anyways and get this up and running. But what's the best way?
Call me. I have chat on my website. Just people like to chat. You can chat with me. I have. There's actually a mobile app you can get, which is Cruise Planner's mobile app.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
do you ever get someone that chats on your page and says, "How much does it cost to go to Disney?" You ever get that? What's it cost to go to Disney?
I get that for every destination in the world. How much does it cost? Well, we have to talk. If that's that's just something that it's not something I can throw out there. And I do get that a lot. I've done a lot of travel shows, and people will come up to me and just, give me a number. How much does it cost? And I can give you a number, but that's.
but for the folks that are really shopping for price, there are some warning signs that they should be aware of, and some red flags that they should just be.
Oh yeah, I mean,
just have their eyes open to.
Yeah, you've got to. I've looked over things before, and I'll be honest, people do shop. I get it.
Oh yeah.
And that's what my website is for. You can shop on my website. You can book online. It's because that's what people like to do.
Yeah.
And it's not just a hobby for me. This is my job. I work it all day. Like, I've been at my desk today all day long. And it jumps from. I can tell you different destinations I've been working on, from the Caribbean to Ireland.
Tell me about today.
Today, I worked on a Caribbean vacation. Wasn't sure if it's a land or sea, so we did both. I gave them options. I'm working on a South African trip for a handicapped person who needs accessibility.
Wow.
So we're working on that. And that's actually been a little while. That I've been working, a couple weeks now, because it's not something that's just, I have to make sure these places are going to accommodate what this person needs, I'm also working on an Ireland trip, 30th anniversary for somebody. I just got done working on a European cruise for another 30th anniversary. I wasn't sure if they wanted river cruise or ocean. So we tied that up. In between, I was kind of working on my night here tonight, and then Princess just started a brand new sale, best sale ever. So working on that. And
do tell, because January is right around the corner here.
Yeah, it's best sale ever. And so what they're offering right now is all gratuities for everybody in the cabin, whether you have 2 to 4 people in the cabin, beverage package, and what else are they offering?
Wow, gratuities.
Wi-Fi. Everybody loves Wi-Fi when they're on vacation.
Got to have it.
We all like to. We should be unplugging, but everybody likes to have it.
We should be. Yes.
Yeah. So Wi-Fi as well. So they're offering that. I've got Norwegian Cruise Lines that's offering kids sail free on some things. Just a lot going on right now. A lot of stuff. So it's a busy day, and every day is different because I have different people, different destinations. Yeah, so my day's always.
So when you go away on these excursions, like you just went on this conference, and that was Princess, right? Princess Line?
I did 3 nights in Fort Lauderdale, at the Diplomat in Fort Lauderdale as the convention, Cruise Planners Convention, and then I did 3 nights on the Princess Sky, yes.
So, and I would imagine, like you said, this is a full-time job that is all day, every day, that you got to keep working.
I do.
Even when you're on.
My computer comes with me and my phone gets transferred. Yeah.
It has to. It has to.
I do have coverage at times. I do have a very close friend that I work with who's actually on leave right now, and I'm covering for her. But so I always have coverage. If I can't get to somebody, then I always have coverage. But this last week I was covering for somebody else, so everything came with me, and I worked. I worked after the conference into like 10:30, 11 at night, and then I worked on the ship. I took time out in the afternoon in between.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your family.
Yeah.
Shout out to Connor. How's he doing?
Connor's doing great.
Great.
Yeah, works for, I'm going to say it wrong. Nenison.
All right.
Nenison in Essex. So,
okay.
Yeah.
He's a smart kid.
He's a very smart kid. Yeah.
And he's still with the web design and all that stuff or whatever?
He does web. He does some camera stuff for them and tapes. Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
He should come over here sometime. Check it out.
He should.
So, and hubby?
Hubby's good. Yeah.
What's his name?
Kevin.
So does Kevin get to go with you a lot for some of these trips that you get to do?
Sometimes. Kevin's not a big traveler.
Okay.
He would rather be walking in the woods somewhere doing some hunting. So.
Okay. Or sitting at home eating pizza in front of the TV in his underwear while you're gone.
How did you know that?
We ain't no different. No different. But he's been on a few trips with you.
Oh, yes. And we do family trips, and my kids, and I got to say my oldest son too. He works for FedEx Freight, and he's doing well. So yeah, we love to travel. We're a family of travelers, except for my husband. But my boys like to go, and they're girls as well. So yeah.
And is it true that are you a grandma?
I'm a grandma. I have 2 grandbabies.
Do tell.
Yes. Oliver's 4 and Leah is just turned 1. So, yeah.
Oliver's
busy. Oliver is 4.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's a good sized kid.
He's a good. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I remember in the eyes. I mean, it's just.
Leah's just like him. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He gets the eyes from Amber.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's next for you? So when do you come into busy time of year? Is it always?
Typically, it's coming up. They call it the wave season, which is January through April, which can be really, really busy. And honestly, I've been pretty busy throughout the year. I mean, July slows down a little bit. August can be a little slow. Beginning of September, just because kids are going back to school and that kind of thing. But it's been busy. It's just been, and I have some stuff I'm working on for next year coming up. I'm going to be in Chicago in February for the travel trade show there, and then I'll be in Mexico in February as well. And then March I'll be in Philadelphia for that travel trade show. Possibly in Las Vegas for April, but we'll see, for another conference. But it's all, and it sounds wonderful and great, and it is. I'm very lucky, and I do feel that I am very lucky. However, it's work, and
it's tiresome. Travel is.
It can be, but it's all about learning. I'm going to these places to learn how to find you better things, and to make these connections so that I can get.
Well, there's nothing better than testimonial. And there's nothing better than you being able to say, well, hang on a second, I went there, and let me tell you, if it pours, if it absolutely rains for 2 days, you're going to have a great time because you can do this, that, and whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, that's huge for me. If I know you've been there and you say, oh yeah, go to this restaurant or whatever you do, get the 2-day plan, get the meal plan, don't get the meal plan, whatever it may be. Yeah. That's critical, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
If you ever need anybody to go with you as a Kevin double, I'll get a fake ID that says Kevin on it, and I'll go with you.
I don't know that your wife will like that very
Well,
much, but
Kevin may not like it either, but I'm just saying.
Okay.
It's exciting to know that a vacation is something that you shouldn't just write off and say it's not possible.
Right.
That it is within reach
It is.
to do it, to do something that it may take you an extra 6 months to budget for, but maybe not.
Right. Exactly. And that's what I'm here to help you figure that out. So,
And we should also say to the moms and dads out there that don't forget that hopefully you have a good network of family members that you can feel super comfortable with. I'm just putting this out there that the kids can stay home.
they can.
And mom and dad deserve some much needed
They certainly
catch up
do.
time and find out,
Right.
what those options are.
Or we can do someplace where kids go free and they go to the kids clubs and then you still have your free time. See?
So there's
make a
kids
way.
clubs like the kids go away, they're punched in, they go,
Yeah.
it's like, and they have a kick-ass time all day. They're running around
Exactly.
and they're exhausted.
Yep.
By the end of the day, boom,
Yep.
put them in bed.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. So we're running out of time here,
Yeah.
but meal plan or no meal plan? I mean, I know you're going to say it depends, right?
I say meal plan at Disney.
Meal plan at Disney.
Yeah.
Sherilyn was leaning toward that too.
Yes.
It's like, just stop fooling around.
Yeah.
And just, I don't want to be wondering about this and that, and
Right. Yeah.
just do it.
Yeah.
Just do the meal plan
Yeah.
instead of dragging a cooler around all day or whatever.
Exactly. Who wants to cook on vacation? Seriously.
Yeah, true. It's true.
Who wants to shop? Who wants to think about, every day, what are we going to have for dinner? That kind of thing.
Very true.
You're on vacation,
Yeah.
It
It's worth a little bit extra.
is.
A little bit of the extra
Why
money.
go on vacation and be stressed out?
Yeah.
That's not what it's for,
Right.
So,
So you're right here. You're close by. You're in Berlin.
yes.
You're super local. You're probably going to bump into Donna over at Price Shopper. But yourvoyageplanner.com.
Yes.
Yourvoyageplanner.com.
Yes.
That's your site. And there are deals that are red hot that are going on right
Yes. Yes. Just starting today, some of them. And yes, there are. So
now. Click on them. And
always
just check
more
them
to
out.
come. Just check them out. Yeah.
And
Let me
it
know.
could be Europe. It
You
could
can
be
sign up for my email list too for if you want sales or specials. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for
Well,
coming
thanks
in
for
here.
having me. I appreciate
Say hi
it.
to everybody for me.
I will.
Say hi to Connor. Please tell Kevin I was just joking. And
I'm sure he'll see
and-
you.
and what else are we missing here? I think we pretty much got it all, right?
I
But
think
you've been
we-
doing this for 17 years.
Well, 26. But I've been, 26. I've been with Cruise Planners for 17 years. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And you get back to people fast.
I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're very busy.
Yes.
And that's good.
It is
That's
good.
a good thing. It's
It
it's
is
good
good.
to be busy.
Yeah.
Thank you again for coming in here. Please
you.
let me know. Keep me up to speed on some stuff that's going on
Yeah.
that I can help you promote. But I'm telling you, folks, if you've watched this podcast, if you're thinking about travel here in the next couple of years, kids or no kids, land or sea,
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
definitely.
Mountains, you want to get into some crazy stuff, some excursions, what have you. Donna, believe me, she knows what she's doing. She knows how to do her homework, and she'll set you up on that.
Yeah.
Donna Sherman from Cruise Planners right here in Central Vermont in Berlin. Again, one more time, the website, yourvoyageplanner.com. And I'm thrilled to have you as a sponsor. Thank you so much for partnering up with me.
Well, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
And thanks to Gauthier's Quality Grounds and Maintenance of Orange. Jason Gauthier is one busy guy right now. Started out with a two-wheel drive truck and a snowblower. and now he's got about, and just a couple of customers, and now he's got almost 50 with a beautiful 3/4 ton truck, big plow, and he's just doing so well. He's getting ready for, believe it or not, springtime. He's getting new equipment, and he's getting geared up for mowing. Doesn't that sound amazing to hear the word mowing? But he's a hell of a guy. Gauthier's Quality Grounds and Maintenance in Orange. Project Independence. I cannot wait not only to have them in here in February, but also I'm going to be setting up shop and broadcasting live over at Project Independence sometime, I think, in January. So great people over there. piberry.org to learn more and find out what they are all about. Active Adult Day Health Services right here in the heart of Central Vermont. Project Independence is a happening place for all kinds of people of all kinds of ages, all kinds of abilities and disabilities. Make sure that you are not locked in this winter, that you're getting out and getting active and having fun and mingling with your neighbors and just enjoying life over at Project Independence. Fontaine Forestry and Millworks of East Montpelier. Mark Fontaine, the guy that made the desk here, Route 14, just below Bragg Farm, whether it's kiln dried or custom cut, all locally harvest lumber right here in Central Vermont. Mark Fontaine and family over at Fontaine Forestry and Millworks. Fly on the Wall Productions and Tony Campos, Abubakar, my producer Billy, here at Central Vermont Television, CVTV723.org. And of course, thanks for subscribing to Aired Out. We'll catch you next time. Rusty Deweese, the logger, going to be right here tomorrow night at 5:30 live on Aired Out. Don't miss it. It's going to be a great time, our annual Christmas show. Be good to one another. We'll catch you again real soon.